Hi Trace, good job on getting your website done. This is a review of your website. So let's look at the details here. So I think the website in general looks very good. I love this chocolate stuff in the background. It's making me hungry. Great stuff. There's just a few tweaks that I think would help you, and hopefully this is helpful for you. One is that the headline, I appreciate the fact that you have a headline. Many websites don't even bother to have a proper headline. However, your headline seems to be a little bit like a statement, a little bit abstract for the business that you have. Now, if your visitors are warm visitors or people that you've already engaged with and you're sending them to your website, it may not be as much of an issue. But if you're receiving any measure of cold visitors, so visitors that are just visiting you for the first time, or people that you've handed your business card at a networking event and you're just telling, just look at my website to see more about me, it may be a little bit abstract, a little bit like a statement, a cold statement, rather than direct to the point on what you are offering. So the reason why you may want to consider thinking about this a little bit deeper is that the majority of people browsing on the web will make a decision on whether to stay or to leave the website in the first 5 to 7 seconds. That's what the stats say, depending on who you ask. Some people say 5 to 8 seconds, but the fact is that it is a very short period of time. So cold visitors need to be reassured that they have landed on the right place. One thing that I would recommend here for a headline would be something like, and again, you may not like this, and I respect that, but is just an example of what would be something a little bit more objective. So, for example, we turn homes into entertaining venues, something like that. Let's see how that looks. And naturally, the box containing it is not probably wide enough to do that, and I'm not going to bore you changing the code to do that. But anyway, this is kind of an idea where people, your target audience, is landing there and saying, oh, I need that. I actually need to turn my home into an entertaining venue. Just an example of what I mean. The other thing I was thinking that might help you is the block of copy. So you have kind of your copy right under the subheading is in different blocks, so different lines, but at first glance it appears like a paragraph, and that's never good when a visitor just visits your site because they haven't made the decision again on whether to stay or to leave. And when you present them with a block of copy that just seems a little bit long, it may push people away rather than inviting them. So this is solved very simply by adding something as simple as a break in between that. So let me see if I can remember my HTML properly. We do a break and then just a non-breaking space, and you can feel free to do this on the code on your end. It's not a big deal. And there you go. I have to confess, I paused the video. I actually cut out the portion where I was trying to figure out the right code. I'm not a coder myself. I just know enough to be dangerous. But you can see that the copy now seems a little bit more airy, a little bit more inviting, and you can just kind of read in chunks, right? You want to present that copy in chunks. All right, so that's that. The photos look incredible. They look great, but I want to invite you to consider whether these photos are compressed, are optimized for web. And the reason why is that when I ran your website through Google PageSpeed Insights, which just kind of quickly evaluates the speed of your site, it says that you're getting a 49 out of 100. And one of the reasons here is that precisely to optimize your image. And again, photography looks great, and that's no surprise because I know your quality, but they may be just a little bit too raw for web presentation. So just consider optimizing that your photos, and you can see kind of how slowly they're loading. Here I see a misspelling, so recipes should be without the I. Recipes. That's better. So yeah, you see the photos seem very glitchy when you're scrolling through them, and that's just a common issue with photos that are just too big to load on a web browser. People would be surprised at how small assets on the web should be. They have to be very, very, very small and very compressed in order to give a pleasant user experience, and also that feeds into search engine optimization and other issues. Love this presentation. Love your photo. Looks very, very good. Your bio is very in depth, but I like the way it's all in chunks. So people that would want to read it shouldn't have a problem reading this here. So that's all good. It's also really cool. You have these blog posts, and you have the products that you have available, which is great. I saw your product page, and it looks pretty good. I mean, everything is pretty awesome. The only thing I didn't see in the products are descriptions, and that might, I know it takes a lot of time, especially with the amount of products that you have here, to add copy for each of these products. But it helps when you have just some inviting copy describing what the item is, more than just the top line headline. It just helps a little bit to the user that is looking at it, and what the item is actually about, what it could be for, possible uses, possible settings, maybe style, backgrounds. What style is this? More modern? Is this more classic? Etc. Etc. Those type of things certainly tend to help. Let me look at your blogs very quickly. Okay, so I don't like the URLs, how the URLs are coming up. It just seems kind of code language, and usually you want to have something a little bit more human, because believe it or not, URLs have a lot to do with whether people click through to visit your content or not. So I would look into that. The last thing I want to bring to your consideration is, whoops, so a pop-up. Bring your consideration is your title tags. So your title tag currently is just trace dash Kingham. And I noticed when you posted this link on Facebook, in a private group that we belong to, your metadata seems not very friendly. So this is what I mean. When you post it on Facebook, it says trace dash Kingham, and then it says home to. This is something that you have to change on the code end, and it's very easy to do. If you look at the code for your site, if you go to the top, it's probably in the head where you see the title tag is right here, Trace Kingham. Let me see. Actually, the OG title is what is going to reference, what Facebook is going to reference. So you have to change that to Trace Kingham Entertaining, something like, as simple as that. You're already changing your title. No, that's not changing this title tag. That's probably the first one that I pointed out. Right. Oh, actually, it's this one. Trace Kingham. Oops, spelled your name wrong. Kingham Entertaining. So by seeing that, you see a much more pleasant title tag. It'll affect your search engine optimization as well. So these are things that I would recommend you look into. The other thing about that feeds into the presentation on Facebook is this home to is very simply edited by, oops, I passed it, the OG description, where I don't think you even have an OG description. So that's why it's pulling some random metadata for that home to. You want that description, the OG description tag, to be something that is descriptive, and it could be your headline, maybe a portion of your subheading, but just something that will be a statement for people seeing your post on Facebook and other places that you post, for people to click through. It does affect a lot the percentage of people that see your post and actually decide to click through, because it's the statement that tells them before they do what the site is all about. So I would recommend very strongly to edit that. Otherwise, again, your site looks very, very good. I think it's a great first attempt. Just tweaking those few things will help the performance, increase your performance, and have a lot more success. So here to help. So I hope you have a great success. And any other questions, just let me know. We're here to help you. Okay, bye bye.